been thinking a lot about time, nostalgia, and the early 2000s and the 2010s more importantly as well. Not more importantly, but that as well. And I've been extremely nostalgic, so much so to the point where I think even if I had like a lot of money, I just became like pretty rich. Part of me would almost like just want to like be able to give that up just to go back in time. Like just to go back into that time period where I don't know, like more so like the beginning of 2010s and all that. Just like the aesthetic and the kind of look and the nostalgia I had from there as well. In this because things were like a lot more simpler, and I feel like me and everyone else wasn't me and everyone else wasn't like as grateful for like what we had back then. Because like sometimes like when you're a kid, you want more things, you want like a new game, you want this. But like if I could go back, I'd just think, you know, I would just try to be grateful for everything that I had because those are like the best years of my life. Like 2016, if I could go back then, 2015, 2016, if I could go back then, I'd just be like, I just try to be as content as I possibly can and just be happy with what I have because just being that age and like having nothing to worry about and that time period alone is just like something you can't even buy. It's something you can't even buy with money. It's like I remember like just when I was a kid, right? When I played video games, my parents probably complain. My parents would complain sometimes, and they say, "Oh, you're playing games too much. You're on the console too much." But like, look at what we have now. Kids are on a different level. Like, video games are like back in the day are like a joke compared to like what we have now with like social media, iPads, brain rot, TikTok, Instagram reels, everything. Like, I find social media a lot more addictive than like video games. So like the addictions that we had back then are like nothing I feel like compared to now in terms of like in terms of our like devices, electronics and like games and whatever. I didn't think they were even that bad. It's more just about balancing things with your life and your lifestyle rather than like, oh, this thing was bad for you. It's like no, it wasn't. Video games are not even like they were even that addictive. It's just because there was nothing else to do. And like I just see all these kind of videos about nostalgia type videos you probably see on like social media, like nostalgia bait type videos where you see like like the inside of a game shop and it'll be like this nice kind of carpet with like space with like a space theme on it or whatever, or like just random stuff like old like what malls used to look like back in the UK, what certain shops look like a certain there's a different aesthetic back then. Now everything is like obviously more soulless and kind of just feels like corporatized. Like everyone's trying to get money. No one cares about creativity, even in films as well. And it's like I've just been feeling that so much. Like I almost want to create like a room or like have a room where like create have a living room where like everything feels like that aesthetic, feels like more kind of normal and things are more kind of stripped down. Not like oh, got AI, got you know your phone, your laptop, social media, like all these crazy things, like recreate the kind of aesthetic of the early 2000s because they're like I find the early 2000s like really nostalgic. Like honestly, I just do like even even with like I've already mentioned this, but like with certain addictions, like you wouldn't have to be like in this constant like dopamine hit type of cycle. You just watch a film, you just play a game, you just I don't know listen to music. It wasn't like a proper addiction. I mean, games could be an addiction, but they weren't like like constantly like to me like a drug or whatever. They're just quite really engaging at the end of the day. And when you're a kid, they're especially more engaging than when you're an adult. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion. But yeah, I think like nowadays when I think about when you see people who care about like luxury and like looking fancy, trying to show off, like I really kind of don't care about that as much as I maybe thought I would. And people can kind of see that like I just care more about having a good life. I just care more about having good memories because that's really what matters. Having good memories. Think about all like the great memories that you had and that you have. Like they're all like you always think back to your memories of your childhood that are wonderful, and you think like, yeah, I didn't need much. I didn't need to have some crazy like amount of money. I just had to have a very good life that I enjoyed. And the thing is that people often think you can recreate your nostalgia, your happiness, and I find that it can be true, but it can be easier said than done. I mean, it is easier said than done, in my opinion. It's first about finding the kind of the people that you resonate with. I feel like, or in the environment, the people in the environment, because people can add or change your environment. And your environment can change your mindset. If you have a bad environment, you literally cannot do anything. Like, for me to be productive and do things I want, I need to have the right environment, or otherwise I'm just fucked. Having the right environment is like literally everything. I want to just be somewhere where it's kind of sunny, where it has like San Francisco or something, or Miami, where like the weather itself just piss, or like just the weather itself piss you in a good mood. Where it's sunny, where like it makes you feel a certain level of just happiness, just going out, going for a walk. You know what I mean? And just have my own room, have my own place, not have any crazy distraction. And not like if other people in the city that I'm in are super addicted to like technology or TikTok or the phones, I don't even notice that. I won't even have to know. I mean, I don't notice that much anyway because I'm just in my own zone. I can just like fucking get rid of my phone maybe and like get a flip phone, use a flip phone, just live a basic life. I've seen videos on YouTube where people are talking about like how they got rid of their smartphone, just got a flip phone, or how they downgraded their lifestyle to more kind of digital like early 2000s technology. It just looks so. It makes life seem like not cooler, but like just more meaningful. Like you're getting rid of extra stuff that doesn't serve you at all, really. You're just kind of keeping things simple. Simplifying things, simplifying entertainment, getting rid of like pretty bad addictions or distractions, and just not being constantly bombarded by notifications. Or just you can just go watch a film, focus on it, and go to bed. You can just get your work done. You can just do some work that you need to do, and then get it done, get it over with. You don't have to think too much. You know what I mean? Like if you take, I keep talking about games, but there's such like a good like kind of analogy because old school games like they didn't even use like internet. They just had the console, the game. That's the controls. Everything was kind of stripped down, and I think what I mean. I might not be describing it the best way, but like you probably know what I mean when things were like just more stripped down back then. Like take a BlackBerry phone for instance. It's a very stripped down like kind of version of what a phone is compared to nowadays. You had the phone. You could just type the buttons on it and just make a call, make a video maybe, barely, and like that's it. It's not like all these crazy like gadgets and the games you can have and apps and whatever and distractions. It's just that's kind of more what life I want to live. I don't want to have a fucking short attention span like everyone else is gonna have these days, where they can't even read a fucking book, they can't even watch a 2 hour movie. I just want to live a life like how things were, and like the nostalgia gets you, especially when you keep seeing these videos about like nostalgia 2015, 2016, nostalgia 2010s, early 2000s nostalgia. That shit like it does get to me. Like the more I think about it, the more actually like it does get to me. I'm not gonna lie, and I just think like like that type of stuff is just priceless, and I'd honestly want like so much just to be able to experience that, go back to that, and just find meaning, find happiness within like simplicity, within a kind of simple life, and not having to think too much. Like another problem I've had is like thinking too much about just life in general, just thinking too much, just about what I want to do, this, that, the other, whatever. Like I don't want to have to do that too much. I want to just like get get things done. You know what I mean? I just want to like have a simpler life, have a few hobbies, a few interests like I actually pursue, but then other things in the background are kind of like, yeah, just hobbies. But yeah, if there's anything you remember that like reminds you of the like that makes you nostalgic, makes you miss like just a few years ago or a decade ago or whatever, 15 years ago, anything that makes like really nostalgic of the past, like put it in the comments. You know what I mean? Because I miss like what life used to be. I actually do. And the music was pretty good. Life was easy. You know, the things I do are pretty simple. Maybe it's also because of like when you're a kid, there's not any responsibilities really. Maybe that's one reason, but like even then, I don't think that's that big of a deal, that much of a deal, that much of a big deal. I just think, okay, well, yeah, you didn't have any responsibilities, but you still had you had good things, like you had things that you didn't have to worry about. But as an adult, you have benefits as well. Even though like there's more responsibilities, you still have some benefits. You can actually kind of like just do what you want overall. You can do things like when you're a kid that you can do things that you couldn't do when you're a kid. You know what I mean? Yeah, all it is with me is like creating the right environment, having the right people around me, creating memories. Like I want, like I said, I want to create memories. I want to be in an environment where I can create memories or whatever. Like I want to create new nostalgic memories. I want to create new memories that become nostalgic for me in the future. That's what I want. I think I can do it, but I just gotta be persistent. Not be so negative, and just kind of be stricter with like who I just talk to, who I engage with, because I think that's a real thing. Like you have to be careful who you let in, because like when you're an adult, you don't have to do anything. You're free. You don't have to interact with anyone you don't want to. You can kind of just like do your own thing. Do you know what I mean? If I have to like just shut myself off from like a lot of people to find that peace, so be it. Because what I want overall in life is pretty simple. It's just the ways I've been trying to do it were complicated. Think about how things were when you're younger. You don't have to find too much to make yourself happy. I feel like you just need the simple things. When were the best memories that you had? When was the best time period or the best things that happened in your life? The things that like, how do I say it? When was the most happiest when you were younger? Think about that. I think about trying to replicate that. That's what I'm thinking about. You know what I mean? And if you live in a small city, you can't rely on too many people because there isn't a lot of people. And I feel the smaller the city, the less you can kind of click with people because there's less of a variety of people there. But if you go to a bigger city, go to like a decent enough city, you can find people who you click with, regardless. You'll find people who you can click with, who are like minded, who you can have a good time with. That's really what I want, I mean? I just want that in life. And part of me was thinking of just like getting like older games console, just playing retro games, so I don't have to like deal with like the whole online stuff or like the way things are, like how they're woke and shit these days. I can just like live an old school type of life. You know what I mean? Anyway, I might make another video like this, but we'll see. Anyway, see you around. See you out.